Well, in the summertime things are always a little bit quiet, of course, but there's still been a few times when I've been in the model room playing with trains, so let's have a look at some updates. Hi everybody and welcome back to Fairview, to the train room. Yes, as always in the summertime, aspects of your hobbies tend to get neglected with family holidays and jobs around the house and in the garden. But in today's update, I just want to share with you a couple of things where I've just made a little bit of progress in the last month or so. You might have noticed in the little intro sequence just now, and perhaps it's even more obvious now as we come a bit closer to the new yard, that I've taken a leaf out of Tim Garland's book. He has in the past recommended using like stone effect spray can paint to give the impression at least that your track work is ballasted as a temporary measure while other work is going on. So I've done that over the past several weeks. It has to be said the stuff stinks to high heaven, so I had to do it in quite small batches and then let the room really sort of air properly and things. But I think you'll agree that the effect is quite convincing. Tim stresses that this is very much a temporary measure, as I said, but from normal viewing distance at least it looks quite convincing, I think. And let's be honest, there is a chance yet that this area will never be properly scenic, in which case it can just stay like this now, to give the impression of it being a ballasted yard. The other thing that I did achieve in the past couple of weeks is building a second removable bridge component. Just come in a bit closer here, you can see it's very simple. I won't dismantle it now while I'm holding my phone, but just a simple T-shaped construction of 9mm ply with some timber underneath and a couple of slots for it to fit in, and then the track just temporarily plugs in on either side of the bridge there to the existing track work. And then if I, as slowly as I can, just slowly track around, you'll see that I have also added the bench work and track to complete the loop around the room. So yes, we now have a continuous run measuring something like 60 feet, so close to a scale mile, which takes us right the way around the hobby room. So that's quite an important landmark. At one point I was sort of thinking that I wouldn't necessarily achieve this until the autumn, but I did decide just to push on and get it done now, because I do like to have trains just pootling around while I'm working here in the room. And now I've got to go back and just sort of troubleshoot. There are places at the moment where, because everything's just temporarily tacked in place, where trains have a tendency to derail, for example. But I can do that now at my leisure over the course of the autumn. And then I'm also going to begin to focus on this area here where I've got the makings of the base of the helix, which will take me up to the second level. You never know, I might just get up to the start of the main deck by winter time at this rate. I am toying as well with just adding maybe at least one industry onto this lower level, maybe just for the time being. Possibly one spur coming off there, swing round, possibly also a very short spur where that sort of little cement silo is currently standing, and or just pop round the corner. If I can get the angles right, I would quite like to maybe turn that mocked up industry in the corner there. I'd quite like to make that rail served, but that depends on whether I can get track to come around that corner without it being too sharp an angle. Anyway, that's all I've got for this month to share. As I say, quiet time of the year, of course, but hopefully you can see that a couple of things have been moving on. I'd really appreciate it if you gave the video a thumbs up if you're enjoying these progress reports. When I first started doing these videos, I was adamant it wasn't about making money on YouTube or getting loads of views. It was just a way to kind of motivate me to kind of record progress for my own benefit as time went by. Last year, at times though, I was getting sort of couple of thousand views of some of my videos, and I've heard that the algorithms have changed. I don't often get more than a couple of hundred now. And I'd be lying if I didn't say that that is a little bit demotivating. So if you have enjoyed this, please do give it a thumbs up. That would be really cool. And once we get into September, I promise you that we will have some more substantial progress to report in some shape or form. So stay tuned for another update. Thanks as always, take care of yourselves, and I hope to see you soon.